Join us as we dive into our obsession with true crime, history, and mysterious stories. Each Corrupted Clip episode is less than 30 minutes long, providing you with the perfect bite-sized content to get you through the day.
We assume no responsibility or liability for any errors or omissions in the content of this episode. The Corrupt Podcast is based on the facts and our opinions of the case. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Corrupt Podcast.
In 1932, Australia faced an unexpected enemy, more than 20,000 emus. Armed soldiers and machine guns were deployed, but after a strange 45-day battle, the emus would be victorious.
Good day, mate. We are back in Australia. In fact, the last time we covered an Australian episode was Lindy Chamberlain in episode 22. So if you haven't, go and check that out.
Before we dive into the Great Emu War of 1932, let's talk about the bird and the pronunciation. The word emu is pronounced two different ways. In Australia, it's pronounced emu, but in the US, it's emu. So we're rolling with the US pronunciation today.
So an emu is about a 6-foot-tall bird descended from dinosaurs. They are flightless, weighing up to 120 pounds, and in fact, the only bird with calf muscles. Calf muscles.
It's a bird with calf muscles. I don't know what it is about the emu. Their face, like their beak, it just looks like they're judging me. Like I've got poor decisions and they are judging me on it.
It's their eyebrows for me.
Do they have eyebrows? It's all just one. I don't know. It's not feathers. It's like fur.
Yeah, whatever the furry part is right above their pupils.
Oh,
that's
I see.
What I'm talking about.
It's got like a mean look and it's got a wily look in its eyes.
Yeah. It's just like an overhang, like on a porch.
An eyebrow overhang.
At least it's not a unibrow.
To be fair, it could be a unibrow because it goes all the way. We've got some hilarious photos of us with emus that'll be posted to our socials, so definitely check those out. You can see the emus judging us in real time.
Emus have some badass strong legs, and they allow them to not only run up to 30 miles per hour, but also for long distances, up to 15 miles a day. It's incredible. Like us, they eat fruit, but not like us, they eat insects. Yet they don't have any teeth. So I know what you're asking. How do they ingest these insects without any teeth? What they do is they swallow small rocks to help grind up their food from the inside.
Sounds painful. Emus are inquisitive by nature. They like to follow humans around just to see what they're doing. On the flip side, though, if they get cornered or scared, they have been known to kick, which I would imagine with those calf muscles, it's a scary situation.
That's a rib broken.
Oh, yeah. They're tall, though. Like, it's taller than I am.
It's the neck, right? It's the neck. They're tall.
They got you with that judgmental beak or those calf muscles with the kick. Just stay away from an emu. They do follow rain clouds, almost having like a sixth sense for where the water is going to be.
On a side note here, I feel like any animals in Australia are like made out to kill you. And I say that in the best way possible, but like dingoes, them kangaroo jacks out there, they got everything that can kill you. Have you seen those muscles on the kangaroos?
And then you've got the muscles on the emu. Like there's just everything. Everything is set out to kill them.
I don't know how they live. They are just built different.
I volunteer to go and vacation there. I will volunteer for that.
We volunteer, okay?
Let's go.
We are going to see the Hemsworth brothers.
That's not what I'm going to Australia to see, but okay.
You'll be like promoting our podcast over here in a booth, and I'll be way where...
You're going to be like looking up,
over on
where
the other
do they live again? What street?
Yep, that'll be me.
It's also called stalking. They probably don't like that.
Probably not. But to get to the bottom of it, I just really respect them. I really do. They are handsome as all get out, yes, but I do respect them. I just want to make that clear.
And talented.
Back in 1960, a German zoologist, Klaus Immelmann, actually discovered emus have a bedtime routine. So what they do is they get into their nest, but squat for up to 20 minutes, wearing down before actually tucking themselves in for bed.
Typically, emus live solo or in small groups, but as we will see, in times of drought, they will gather together.
Before we dive into this case, y'all, podcasts are better with friends. So share us with your friends, your coworkers, your librarian, or even the cashier at your grocery store. You can also join the Corrupt crew over at patreon.com/corruptpodcast. Make us known, help us get our name out there, and we will supply you with corruption each week.
Events leading up to the Emu War began when World War I ended. At that time, the Australian government offered thousands of returning soldiers undeveloped land to use for farming. In Western Australia alone, 5,000 Australian and British soldiers accepted the farming land.
The problem is that farming wasn't as easy as the government initially made it seem. To create the farmland for the soldiers, native trees and plants were removed, and then water seeped into the salt-rich soil, bringing the salt to the top of the land. Some of the land would become what Australia calls salt useless. Each soldier farmer was provided around 10 acres of land, which wasn't much to support food for their families or gain an income. To get by, they decided to plant wheat and raise sheep for wool to help supplement their pay. The sheep turned out to be a smart investment as the Great Depression and falling wheat prices created more of a challenge for these soldiers becoming farmers.
The farmers were inexperienced and were given the poor farming land. So by 1932, a quarter of the soldier settlers had already given up and abandoned the land. The remaining Western Australian farmers spent years battling emu damage to their wheat crops. 10 years previously, the emus had been classified as a protected species, but larger gathering of the birds and damage to the crops had them reclassified as vermin to be exterminated since 1922.
Oh, how the tables have turned on that one.
Yep, poor emus, they were just hungry.
In 1932, a severe drought hit Australia. The emus rallied in numbers, and more than 20,000 birds searched for food and water. The emus actually invaded the farming land, eating their wheat and damaging fences. The damaged fences allowed smaller animals like rabbits into the wheat fields, leading to even more destruction and another set of problems.
To defend their lands, it was legal for the farmers to shoot the emus, but the sheer number of birds overrunning the fields was far beyond anything that they could handle on their own. So the farmers petitioned to bring the military in, requesting them to take care of the vermin and protect their crops. From the military perspective, they wanted to show the veterans that they were taking them seriously, so they did step in to help handle the emus. In November 1932, 3 professional soldiers from the Royal Australian Artillery were sent to deal with the mob of emus. The soldiers were provided with 2 Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition.
Those 3 soldiers and local farmers attacked a group of 50 emus, attempting to herd them into an ambush, but as soon as they opened fire, the emus scattered. A similar tactic was used later that day on a smaller flock, but the emus again scattered, making it more difficult to strike just one of the birds.
2 days later, the soldiers tried again. This time, they hid by a water source and waited for a flock of 1,000 emus to approach. Pretty early in this ambush, though, one of the guns jammed, and that allowed the birds to escape. The soldiers also learned that the emus were resilient to bullet wounds, with some surviving multiple gunshot wounds. Now, some of the emus that were shot would run away before succumbing to their injuries, making it impossible to track the deaths. By the end of day 3, the soldiers estimated that only 30 birds had been confirmed dead. So that's 30 birds out of 20,000.
At this point, the farmers and soldiers decided to team up. And it's funny to me because the farmers were previous soldiers in this scenario. So it's soldiers and soldiers, soldiers and veterans.
Against birds.
Strong-ass birds.
Absolutely.
The farmers used their trucks to try and herd the emus. During an attack, the emus were smart and would split into small groups, with each group having a taller bird that acted as a lookout for the others. This left the soldiers and farmers riding in the back of trucks going at least 30 miles per hour to keep up with the emus while they shot them. However, the emus are quick runners, as we discussed before.
Over uneven terrain.
And that's exactly what happened. In one attempt, a truck crashed trying to keep up with the birds. No humans were injured in the attempt to kill an emu.
The soldiers were called off on November 8th, with a statement saying that the emus had, quote, won every round so far. The military joked that the emus deserved a Medal of Honor. The world was watching and getting a laugh out of the military losing to a flock of birds.
From the farmer's perspective, nothing had changed. The emus were still attacking the crops and damaging their land. The military were redeployed on November 12, 1932, for a second attempt at removing the emus from the West Australia farmland.
For the next month, from November 12th to December 10th, it's possible that 3,000 emus died, but the numbers have never been confirmed, and most reports feel that this number is actually highly inflated. We know that the amount of ammunition used far exceeded any benefit. There were 9,860 rounds used, but a confirmed 986 emus killed. So with the staggering waste of ammunition and military personnel, the soldiers were again withdrawn on December 10th, 1932.
Keeping that tactic of using a lookout to give the other birds time to flee, the emus had evolved. As time went on, there were raised concerns that killing the emus with machine guns were obviously inhumane.
Over a year later, in 1934, the government began offering a bounty for emu hunting. In just 6 months, 57,000 emus were turned in for the bounty. The success was short-lived, though, because of that huge population size. So for the farmers, again, not much changed. They begged for assistance in 1934, 1943, and 1948, but the government declined helping each one of those times.
The emus became a protected species once again in 1999. Today, they have an emu barrier fence that run 114 kilometers or 70 miles through Western Australia. This is a woven fence that was originally constructed for rabbits, but in 1959, 2 fences were created that helped to reduce the movement of emus throughout the country. By 1963, the emu barrier fence became the state barrier fence and helped to keep out rabbits, foxes, dingoes, and emus. Before we end this, real quick, have you ever seen that short video of Emmanuel Don't?
No.
Emmanuel the emu. You have to look this up. Okay, it's of a girl. She's like a farmer, and she started a video and she was trying to explain like something about her cow. All of a sudden, all you see is like the face of an emu coming into the picture of the video. And immediately the farmer girl was like, Emmanuel, don't. Emmanuel, don't. And you just see his head like cocking to the side like, oh, what you got here?
Because they're inquisitive.
It's the funniest shit I've ever seen. I tell you, you have to look this up after we're done here. It is so
I will look it up. That sounds funny.
Yeah. I had to mention it.
Apparently you can keep emus all over the world. Like there's people in Canada that have emus. There's people in the United States that have them.
That'd be a wild pet right there.
Yeah, pesty. I think they would be pesty.
Yeah. I think they've got a lot of character to them.
Yes.
I will admit that. And they are smart and strong. So who knows? We might go into another war with the emus and they'll win again.
And like the intelligence that they have with having a lookout and splitting up and sending a taller bird with each like pod. That's crazy. Like they're really intelligent.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I give them props for that, for sure.
The Great Emu War of 1932 made international headlines because the situation was just simply so absurd. In the end, the emus were undeniably the winner of this war. We would love for you to become part of the Corrupt crew. You can find us on Patreon with multiple tiers and PayPal. This will score you our appreciation and will announce your name in a future episode. Both links are in the episode notes. Case suggestions and feedback can be emailed to us at corruptpod@gmail.com.
The sources for this episode would be listed in the episode notes. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Threads. Don't forget to subscribe to catch our new Corrupt content. Please also leave us a review wherever you're listening to this episode. Bye!
Bye!